Hi y'all, this is Sam Tagger with Can't Knock This. Today I'm going to be talking about confidence, the importance of confidence on the doors. When two people meet, that's what you're doing, the person with the most confidence will always win. And so when you're talking to somebody, they're either going to overpower you or you're going to overpower them with confidence. And so basically, a lot of times we go through a slump in the summer because we'll have a bad week or 2 bad weeks and we have zero confidence, and that kills our entire 4 months. And so what happens is if you don't know how to build your confidence back up immediately, you go for a week, you go super inconsistent with your numbers, and it's a roller coaster. And so this is a tip on how to build back that confidence quickly. So there's 4 things. There's a book I'm reading called The Fearless Mind by Craig Manning that talks about how to regain those confidence. And the first thing he talks about is previous performance accomplishments. And what that means is we need to focus on and map out how we actually achieved something great. So when we sold 5 in a day, it's like, what do we do on a very micro level to actually achieve 5 sales or whatever it is? Winning a basketball game. Like, what were we doing in practice that week that actually caused our confidence to be so high that we won? Second thing he talks about is vicarious experiences. And what that is like basically the information and learning and that we actually do on a consistent basis. And so I read a lot of books. It's all important to read books and focus on gathering information. But sometimes we get so much information, we're so bombarded, but it's important to focus on 2 things at a time. So every day in my correlation meetings, when I was sitting there listening to the manager train, when I was first starting, I'd write 2 things just right here on my hand that I could focus on that day and say, I'm going to get really, really good at selling one-leggers. I'm going to get really good at building value. And this is the line I'm going to use to do it. And that would basically, on a consistent basis, help me improve my actually learning and application of knowledge. The third thing is verbal persuasion. It's super important to be able to convince ourselves that we are the best. Even when we're having a terrible week, we just bageled for 5 days in a row, how do we convince ourselves, but thoroughly convince ourselves that we are great? Brian Tracy talks about basically saying, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the best salesman in the world, I'm a closer. And he talks about just saying it with power, and that eventually becomes reality. That's what I convinced myself in between doors, and I became the best. The fourth thing is physiological state. So your physiological state that you're in will actually determine the confidence you have. So Tony Robbins talks about how your change in your physiology actually helps change your mental state. And so he would pound his chest and say, yes, 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 and bring back his shoulders and jump up and down. And what that does is it basically sends endorphins straight to your brain saying, I need to be on my prime, premier, beast mode confident state. So when I talk to somebody, they literally look at me and say, wow, this guy is sure of himself. And that will help you determine how many sales you get that day. And so if you're out there just knocking to knock, I always had this phrase since I started door to door when I was 11 selling magazines, is don't knock to knock, knock to sell. Because if you're out there just going through the motion, confidence-less, you're not going to sell. And so it's important to realize how confident are you. You're not arrogant, but you're confident in what you're doing. This is a little 2 cents. Join us next time on Can't Knock This. Follow us, share us. Please post this video on whoever I think it could help. Till next time.